Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall and birthdom. Each new morn new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like syllable of dolor.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to, friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, and something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. Oh, but I shall crave your pardon. What you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul should wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Oh, perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave-taking. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Lead, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure. For goodness dare not check thee. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich ease to boot.
Oh, be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right. And here, from gracious England, have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
Oh, I grant him bloody. Luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name, but better Macbeth than such an one as I to reign, the king becoming graces, as justice, verity, temperance, patience, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of Concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland.
So back on page 457, at the beginning of that scene, basically the situation is Malcolm, which is King Duncan's son, he doesn't fully trust Macduff, since Macduff just up and left his family. Now he left his family out of good reason and loyalty to the late King Duncan's family and his reign, but it just doesn't look great that he just left his family. So for that reason, Malcolm doesn't really totally. On page 458 towards the bottom, and we'll get into this quote here, my poor country shall never have more vices than it had before. We'll kind of explain that further in a second. But Malcolm is worried that Macduff might be secretly working for Macbeth, which is going to drive the next parts of the. So because Malcolm thinks Macduff is secretly working for Macbeth, he's going to put him through a test. And so as part of that test, Malcolm is going to start to ramble about his vices or his flaws. And basically he's going to look and see how Macduff reacts. Kind of elaborates on some of those flaws. So like he's saying here, like the king becoming gracious, so people that are going to be king, the things that they should have would be justice, verity, temperance, stableness, all of these adjectives right here. Malcolm is saying he lacks those kingly virtues, such as truthfulness, consistency, generosity, humility, and religious devotion. And again, he's looking to see how Macduff is.
Such an one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern. No, not to live. Oh, nation miserable. With an untitled tyrant, bloody scepter, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy whole...
So Macduff responds to Malcolm's saying that he lacks all of these qualities to be a king. And so basically he says you're not fit to govern, you're not fit to be a king. And so by doing that, Macduff is showing loyalty to Scotland by saying that Malcolm is not fit to be the king.
This noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth hath by many of these trains sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, for strangers to my nature. My first false speaking was this upon myself.
Macduff basically passed the test of loyalty to Scotland, and Malcolm is explaining that that was all lies that he said, and that he basically can now trust Macduff as an ally.
What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old seaward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point were setting forth. Now wheel together, and our chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
So throughout 461, essentially Malcolm is explaining that Macduff passed his test of loyalty to Scotland, and Malcolm explains that it was all lies and he can now trust Macbeth as an ally.
Welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. See, who comes here?
It is my kinsman, yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin. Welcome hither.
Good God, the times remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen. Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. Not be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing, but who knows nothing, is there seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked. Where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy, or the dead men's knell is there scarce asked for who. Good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Relation too nice, yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
Out of an hour's age does hiss the speaker, each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well?
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not ungenerous of speech. How goest?
When I came hither to transport the tidings which I have so heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, the which was to my knowledge witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of health. Your eye in Scotland would create us soldiers that make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us 10,000 men, and old Seward, an older and better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. I have words that would be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern then? The general cause? Or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind is honest, but in it shares some part of the woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
It be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever. I shall possess them with the heaviest sound that e'er they heard.
Guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and children savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heavens. What man, ne'er pull your hat upon your brow, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said,
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones? Did you say all? Oh, hellkite! All! What? All my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were, and were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine, fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart in raging.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heaven, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword sling, set him! If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking. The powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
So Ross comes to visit Macduff and Malcolm, and Macduff asks about his family, he asks about his wife and his kids, and at first Ross gives the news that they're fine, everybody's well, and then later on the next page, 464, Ross's conscience takes over, and he confesses the truth about Macduff's family when he says in line 205, your castle was surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered, and Macduff takes that really hard. And Malcolm keeps giving him the advice to get revenge. He says, be comforted, let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief, and turn the grief into anger here in line 231 and 232.